everyone. Welcome to the 90th Eden Fractal meeting. Thanks for joining us. Hope you're doing well today. I'm here with Rosmari and Tadas and Eric. We were talking about Tadas's unique authenticity, and also Eric has a cool mug about cuddling, and I have a fun shirt too. So anyway, feel free if anyone wants to say hello or continue those thoughts. Otherwise, I also have a presentation ready to show about what we're doing here at Eden Fractal and what we have for the topics we're posted today. That's right. All right, I suppose I'll just jump into it now. Everybody's having a good time. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining. Thanks so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We're here at Eden Fractal. Welcome, welcome. Eden Fractal, if you're not familiar, you can check out edenfractal.com. And what's written here right now is that Eden Fractal is a community that creates innovative games, shows, and tools. And indeed it is, although we've also been thinking a lot about our vision and our mission and so forth, and the best way to explain it. So we recently came to consensus that our vision is that all communities and organizations should have the tools and methods to make the best possible decision making fair, fast, and fun. And we have a page where you can learn much more about how we came to consensus about that. And we host weekly events to optimize decision making with consensus games. So you can join our events to collaborate with innovators and learn about fractal decision making, and also take part in the future of collective coordination and just have a good time overall. Invite everybody to join. We meet every Wednesday at 16 UTC. And we also make videos of each week too. So you can watch as well as join and see all the great stuff that we're doing. And of course, we're also building tools too to help people play these consensus games and coordinate the future. So edenfractal.com, where you can learn more. And if you click on events in the top right corner, then they'll bring you to lou.ma/edenfractal, where you can register and find the Zoom room as well. I encourage you to join and encourage you to invite your friends. We're doing really cool stuff here, and we have a scalable system where we can help many, many, many people. And as I mentioned before, you can check out our vision and learn much more about this, but I've showed that before, so you can find it on the website. Rosemary puts out some nice messages promoting Eden Fractal each week. Thank you, Rosemary. This is in t.me/edenfractal, which is the main Telegram and chat group that we use. So she mentioned that during last week's event, the community made a huge step forward in defining Eden Fractal's mission statement, and we're excited to build on the momentum. So everybody can join in on this fun collaborative space and let us know if there's anything you want to discuss. And Rosemary also put this message out, or a similar one, on Warpcast and Farcaster, which is a awesome decentralized social media protocol as well. And she put out a video for when we reached our vision back in week 78 too. So encourage you to go give her a follow and give Eden Fractal a follow and join our groups and so forth. And then you can watch all the videos on edenfractal.com/videos, where we were scoping growth to optimize decision making and building fractals and figuring our next steps and our vision and all sorts of great stuff. And of course, it's also on the Eden Creators YouTube channel too. On the Eden Creators YouTube channel, we've also been publishing videos from Optimism Fractal and many other exciting shows too. Optimism Fractal is another meeting and event and community that we host that meets every Monday or every Thursday now. Yeah, Optimism Fractal changed time. I should announce that. Optimism Fractal changed time. We passed a proposal using a decision-making process, a fractal decision-making process. And now everyone can join Optimism Fractal events as well on Thursdays at 17 UTC. And we can go into more detail about that, about how we use consensus-making processes to do that. But just as a public notice, I know a lot of people like both Eden Fractal and Optimism Fractal here. And as we do at Eden Fractal, we play a game that we call cagendas, where basically we vote with respect points or respect tokens that we'd earned in previous events on topics to discuss each week. Everybody can do so by making a proposal on Consortium or sharing it in the Eden Fractal Telegram group. And I proposed a mission that our mission, we've been discussing this for a while now, our mission, trying to hone in on it. I proposed a mission that Tadas and I had kind of worked on throughout the week since last time. And that is, our mission is to spread fractal decision-making processes throughout society through collaborative research, development, education, gamification, and community engagement. So I think Rosemary voted yes for that. I'm very curious to hear everybody's thoughts about that. And I also proposed another topic about just open discussion and strategy sessions. So if we decide our mission, and maybe we should have an open discussion like we did last week, or maybe we play a strategy game to figure out how to achieve the mission. And then also we have a Notion page too, where we've been curating and collecting all of our ideas about our strategy, our mission, our vision, and several other things too. And there's much more on like projects and stuff on here too. But if we wanted to use this as a resource, I also started to put together a page with the mission, sort of like similar to how we did vision recently, of like curating all the videos, like back when we first discussed the mission in Eden Fractal's 29th meeting. And Vlad had proposed that, and then we discussed it again 30th, 38th, 83rd, 84th, and several other times too. So starting to curate a lot of these. It's been a big topic that we've been aiming to discuss for a while, and we're finally maybe going to reach consensus on it today. On the 85th one, we had basically all four of us who are on this call now had like proposals for the mission. And then just last week, we had worked with ChatGPT a little bit to try to combine the missions and see what sounds best. And we came to like pretty close consensus. And then afterwards, Tadas wrote some ideas about what he thought should be the mission. And so I linked to that in the Telegram group in case you haven't seen it. You can find the link there. And then also me and Tadas went back and forth and wrote a little. I asked him some questions and we went back and forth, and that's why we kind of settled on. The spread fractal decision making processes throughout society through collaborative research and so forth, and adding gamification in there. So that's where that idea came from, and there was some fire that we gave it there. So I think we're in support of that, Rosemary and me and Toss. But curious to hear if anybody has any suggestions about better ways to word it. Of course, happy to hear it. And then we also have more about our strategy too that we can get into if we want to. But yeah, basically that's that. I suppose both the two proposals have 563 Eden. I would suggest we go with the mission first, and then if we come to consensus about the mission, then we can get into the strategy. But we can also go in a different direction too, if y'all would like. And just to repeat that, the mission that is proposed is our mission is to spread fractal decision-making processes throughout society through collaborative research, development, education, gamification, and community engagement. And then this Notion page, maybe I'll just share this again in the Telegram group too, in case you want to write there or review it. And I recommend checking out the comments. If you hit that button in the top right corner called Show All Comments, and you can find it pretty easily. And you can find Tadas's and my conversation there too. So that's that. Thanks for listening. And yeah, very curious to hear what everybody thinks. Should we dive into discussing the mission? Do we have consensus there? Does anybody have any other better suggestions or ideas?
Sure.
Cool. Well, feel free to take it away. I already spoke a lot, so very curious to hear your thoughts.
Bring up the mission again.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so I don't know if it's actually written anywhere other than the comments, so I'll just copy and paste this here, and then I will put it over here.
It's I think it's
in bold.
Yes.
Right there.
It's in bold where?
Bold, yes. Right. The fourth one from the top to bottom.
Okay, right. Yeah, I see it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe we'll just make that a bit bigger too, so we can see it easily.
Yeah, so it's derived from what we came up with in previous meeting. I think we just changed some words in the beginning, namely spread instead of implement, and promote, and also added gamification at the end.
All right. First of all, I like the gamification. I think that's great. That solves a lot of Dan's issues, and I think it's right on. So that I like that the end. I'm now looking at the word spread.
Yeah, previously it was our mission is to promote and implement fractal decision-making tools and methods in games through collaborative research, development, education, community engagement. I agree. The gamification I think is great.
I like that. I like that better. I wasn't against games, but I like gamification even better. So fan of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then regarding the spread, after Eden Fractal's meeting last week, I asked Tadas about this. Is there a better way to say promote and implement? Just 'cause I felt like that was a bit wordy. And then I went back and forth with ChatGPT a few times, and I came with some different ideas like drive adoption, facilitate implementation, promote the adoption of, and so forth. But then after that, Tadas had also gotten back to me after I asked him that. He said, could you think of other ways to say we want to say this to spread throughout society? And so I said, I think I have an idea. Our mission is to spread throughout society. So I don't know where I came up with that. It just
I read the comments and I like it.
Okay, cool. Thanks for the input, Rosemary. Curious to hear if you have any more thoughts about it as well.
I think it made me think about how we differentiate the decision-making tools, and we differentiate them by adding the word fractal actually. So
Mm.
that helps. What Tadas was mentioning last time.
Yeah, it's how we can set our approach apart.
Yeah, previously we were talking about innovative, and I like the word innovative too, but I feel like Fractal just sets it apart more and goes well with kind of like the wave we're already riding with Eden Fractal, Optimism Fractal, and many other fractals.
I'm okay with that too. I'm not feeling the word spread so much though. And the reason is, if you just let your mind go by itself and feed it the word spread, what picture do you get in your mind? If I said, Dan, let's spread happiness, what does your mind do? It's kind of like, it takes kind of a passive role. It doesn't engage the mind to do anything. So to me, it just doesn't, when I look at how my brain responds to that, it's kind of lukewarm.
Okay, well, thanks for this feedback. One thing that might be helpful to consider too is just that it's not just spread, it's also spread throughout society. So that does add more detail to it that I think is something that promote and implement didn't get across as much. I mean, we already have in the vision that all communities and organizations are kind of the target here, but putting it throughout society, spreading it throughout
Well,
society also adds more power to that statement, I think.
well, you're saying spread through collaboration. Okay, spread through collaboration. That's okay. And what do you mean? Okay, educate. That's okay. But promotion and implementation or something like that is a lot more active. It's a lot clearer. It's more action. Spread is kind of passive. Because mission is about doing, so we are spreading. So everybody go spread. Dan, go spread. Rosemary, go spread. Go out every day, go out and spread. Spread videos, spread, and you're like, okay, yeah. But if I say, Dan, promote your videos. Okay, now you know 6 different things to do right now. If all I say is, Dan, you've got these videos, go promote them. Or you've got this tool, go implement it. You could start doing things right away. But if I said, Dan, spread these tools. Okay, spread them. How do I spread them? Spread these videos. It's not that it's wrong. It's just, to me, it's very passive. And if you realize that, messaging is more than the words. It's the impact, the words. It's the emotional content. It's how you make people feel. Spreading, to me, does not make anybody want to go do anything. But promoting or implementing, it's like, yeah, I'm ready. Let's start. Let's go. I can think of 6 things I can do right now to promote something and implement something. I can think a lot of spreading. Well, yeah, you can. But a lot of people dilute words because they said it sounds good. It's like use like empower, next level, and my experiences, those don't make people want to do things. My constant battle, and maybe this is my constant battle has been taking people and watching them dilute the messages down to where they sound good and nobody wants to do anything, and trying to put some action back in the words. And this becomes critical when you're in a marketplace. Right now, we are not tackling other messages, so it's not as bad. But if we had like other people trying to do similar things, then that passive messages aren't as good.
I think it's relevant what Dan mentioned in the comment, that in many cases it will be other people who implement the processes and not Eden Fractal itself. For example, if others use our tools, methods, games, and education to start playing respect game, then in a sense that's not really Eden Fractal implementing it.
Okay, then take out the and, promote implementation of.
Yeah. Well, what I responded to that comment is that it's okay for the first part of the mission to be to name the end goal we are reaching for, because in the second part we are clarifying how we are going to do that. So
I'll just leave it that as logical as all that is, it feels wrong to me. It's not wrong, it just doesn't feel as good. So if I just say, how does this make me feel, tune everything else, my feeling meter does not peg on that.
Interesting. Well, thanks for the feedback. And I also shared too, I just shared it in the Eden Fractal live chat. It might be helpful. But I was thinking about kind of this exact question right after the Eden Fractal last week, because I like the specificity of promote and implement. But it is like there is a balance between how it sounds and then like how I suppose specific it is and action oriented is, and both of those are important. It's also important how it sounds too, and to me it just didn't feel right for it to be promote and implement. Like I think overall these are like relatively small changes.
Yeah, we're really close, so that's the good news.
Yeah, and so I think either one could be fine, and we could always change it later. But it is also helpful to just think about these small details and think about how we can make it as good as possible. And yeah, I had the same kind of feeling with promote and implement. And promote the implementation of also could work, but it's also kind of long. It's just like the word implementation. I don't know. It is like kind of long and kind of technical sounding, which might be kind of scary for people or be a bit of a turnoff. I don't know. But maybe it's good though too. Maybe it's really good. I don't know. But I just had that feeling I wasn't sure about promote and implement of it. And then I just shared in the Telegram chat these two links that I had shared there, so you could see them there, or I just opened them up on the screen too. And I had gone back and forth. First, I asked about what is gamification, just to get a better idea of it. And then there's a response about gamification there. But then after that, I started asking about about implementation and promote the adoption of, and just like what are all the different kinds of phrases that might be helpful to convey this. I hadn't thought about spread the adoption of until Tadas wrote it. So I was joking before. I just took that from the Das, and I don't think Das was even suggesting to do that. He was just kind of asking. But yeah, basically, there's a lot. I went back and forth. I was doing the audio with ChatGPT. We can just ask ChatGPT questions, and so I was just like exercising while doing that, and it was fun. And so there's like a lot here basically where I was listening to it say it, so you can read it if you want, or if you open it up on a phone, then you can listen to it and say it. So I don't know if it's worth like going into too much detail here, but I asked like a comparison between promote and implement. It had mentioned drive adoption of, promote the adoption of. I think maybe promote the adoption of might be better than promote the implementation of. It's a little bit shorter and simpler, and I thought that worked pretty good. And that's going back to what I was saying before about how Practically had it. So there's also facilitate implementation, but yeah, basically there's a lot of ideas here too, also like champion, enable, stuff like that. So just in case it's helpful, I shared that in the Telegram chat in case anyone wants to review that. And maybe there's some other thing we can think about that's not here as well. And then there's also another one too, right? This one I was asking about what it means to promote a process, because I was thinking maybe just the word promote without having implement, because that might also have the effect of being implement too, but that might also just sound more just like promoting and not implementing. So just some ideas here that might kind of help to specify it as best as possible. I'd be happy to go ahead with whatever, I suppose, really, at this point. But yeah, I do feel like I personally preferred spread throughout society rather than promote and implement, because I think that on balance the simplicity of that, and I think people will probably get it. And it sounds better than promote and implement. But curious to hear everyone's thoughts.
What about catalyze?
People don't know what that means.
It's
Not that it's a bad word. It just, I don't think that's going to relate to most people.
Okay.
And to test that out, if you just say catalyze, what does that do in people's brains? And if they tend to have the same responses, you're good. If it's all over the place, they don't quite, then it's not as good.
Yeah, catalyze was a bit confusing.
It's a great word,
the
though.
adoption or what?
What's that?
Promote the adoption or leave it as it is?
Good question. Well, what does everybody think about promote the adoption of? Do you like that compared to spread throughout
I do.
society?
I do. I like that better.
Yeah, I asked ChatGPT about it, and it said that adoption tends to imply like long-term adoption, like integrating deeply in their kind of systems too. I can pull that up if it'd be helpful. I went back and forth about that.
And it just made me think then, what if someone asks, what is the difference between fractally and Eden Fractal? If the missions are similar.
Well, fractally, I don't think that they're really continuing. Seemed like Matthias might have been. I saw the app that he built. I tried it out, and he was still using the Fractally word. But as far as I understand, the Fractally team is disbanding the Fractally brand and just going ahead with the Sync brand. And so
So
people
they
aren't
won't be
really.
using that.
What's that?
I'm
Yeah,
saying they won't be using that.
yeah. That was something, and that wasn't even Fractally. That was the Genesis Fractal that had that kind of mission, so to speak. But the Genesis Fractal stopped operating like a year and a half
Yeah.
ago, basically. So.
So it's free to take.
I think so. Even if they had it, it just like our mission is still different. That's just the verb basically promote the adoption of. But theirs was like promote the adoption of the principles in the faculty white paper or something like that, which it's related to the fractal decision making processes that we're doing, but it's already differentiated, I think.
It's promote the adoption of a common way to say something.
Yeah, maybe I'll go ahead and share my screen again here because these were questions that I asked ChatGPT. I was like, do people understand it when you say promote the adoption of? Is it a common way to say it and stuff? And then so maybe I'll go ahead and share it that we can analyze it and see if that's the right word for us. Um, I have a weird search thing going on here. So let me go search promote the adoption of. So I wrote, what I'd like to know about is the phrase promote the adoption of, how it compares with this and so forth. I was just like talking, so it's kind of like a round sentence. Is that a widely understood phrase that people understand? And then so you can see the questions I asked there, but then basically, I don't know if you want to read it or if I should kind of announce any of it because there's kind of a lot of text on the screen right now. But it says the phrase promote the adoption of generally means to encourage people to start using or integrating something new, like tools, processes, or ideas, into their routines or systems. It focuses more on creating awareness and persuading people of the benefits, aiming to get them on board with a new concept. Although it said that promote and implement goes a step further because it also speaks more to the actual process of putting something into effect. But then I also asked afterwards, like, well, promote the adoption of, though, can that also mean putting into effect? And I was like, yeah, basically. And then regarding whether promote the adoption of is a widely understood phrase, it generally is. Most people understand it as a call to get behind and support the introduction of something new. If your mission includes promoting the adoption of the processes, it conveys a clear message.
Well, for me, I think I like promote implementation of a bit better. For me, it's kind of like ChatGPT said before, promote adoption sounds like we have something ready and we are just promoting people adopting it. Whereas implementation, it's like it implies more work, I don't know.
Okay. So you think promote implementation. There's also like drive adoption and drive implementation, but maybe or facilitate adoption or facilitate implementation. These are some words. Another thing we could do if we want is we could always save it for later and come back to the strategy discussion for now. I mean, it would be nice to just, or we could come to consensus about one of these missions and then always just be open to changing our mind about it next week as well. Like personally, any of these, I could just say yes, sure, and then we could always change it next week if we want. But I know um, I only kind of brought Tadas's comment in mind to like the public, I guess. It was always in the Notion page, but I'm not sure if Rosemarie and Eric had seen it before or if they got a notification there. So if any of you want to like review this and think about it over the next week and come back with a more um just as like a more thought out idea about the best verb to use, then we could always do that too.
I think we're probably good enough to do it. We just need to decide whether we like. I mean, I think we're down to a couple choices for the word spread, whether we go with spread or promote adoption or promote, what was the other one? Implementation. I think we're down to like those three choices. Just pick one, they're all good.
Yes, and also, do we want to keep throughout society part? Because, for example, I created right now a different version. Our mission is to promote implementation of fractal decision-making processes throughout society via collaborative research, development, education, gamification, and community engagement. Whereas previous versions with promote and implement did not have this throughout society part.
I'm okay with throughout society.
Yeah, I like it too. I would prefer to keep it.
Yeah, I like throughout society too. It brings more clarity to how and where and the size and scope of the mission.
Yeah, so for me right now, it's I like this one best. The last one, and bold. And
Okay. Anybody have any thoughts about that one?
I like it.
Rosemarie, what's your favorite out of these three?
What's the difference between promote implementation of and promote and implement?
Yeah, so it's a bit shorter, I guess. There is no and, because there is also and in the end, so I don't know if we want to have too much ands. And also, like Dan was saying, we often won't be the ones who will implement these processes. It will be the other organizations for their processes.
Well, the other one is the focus. If we are focusing if we are promoting fractal decision making, then we're going out saying, let's talk about fractal decision making. Where if we're promoting the implementation, the focus is more on let's use it. One is know more about it, be good at it. Let me tell you about it. It's great. The other one is let me tell you the benefits of implementing, not just on them itself, but it's saying we're more focused on getting people to use it. It's just a little more where our focus is. Is our focus is on this in general, or is it focus on getting people to do something with it? And I think promote implementation says we want people to use it.
Yeah, now I see it. Okay, I prefer the promote implementation version.
Okay. Eric, were you also saying that you prefer the promote implementation? Is that your favorite version out of these different ideas?
I like it.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, I just I just asked ChatGPT what is implementation too, just for different just to get a better understanding of it. And it says implementation refers to the process of putting a plan, idea, or a system into effect. It involves translating a concept or strategy into actions and making it operational. Implementation can vary depending on the context, whether it's implementing a new software system, new business strategy, project plan, or policy chain. It often involves coordinating resources, managing stakeholders, and overcoming obstacles to achieve a desired outcome. There's also some synonyms to that though, because I still feel like it's kind of long and wordy. But I don't think any of these really fit better, these synonyms. Um,
Look at the missions we started with, how huge and they were. Compared to them, it's quite small, I think.
Yeah, that is true. Do you think it should say promote the implementation of fractal decision-making processes, or just promote implementation of? I suppose we can keep it shorter by say just promote implementation of, and there doesn't need to be the word the there.
Wait, what?
I was wondering if it's just like that or like that. Promote our mission is to promote the implementation of fractal decision-making process, or our mission is to promote implementation of fractal decision-making process. I think it probably doesn't need the word the.
Yeah, I also don't think it needs.
Okie dokie. Well, I'm happy with it. If we think of something else, we can always change it. And it's a little wordy, but it's pretty good. Also, I was wondering about through and via. Via might throw people off a little bit because, I don't know, through might be simpler, but via is probably good. And it already uses the word throughout society, so that's why I think we're using via here. And I think we're just kind of getting into the details here. Does anybody have any other suggestions about that, or should we just go ahead with this?
I'm good with it.
Me too.
Me three. Rosmari, all good? Anything else?
It is a bit wordy, yes, but there is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 examples in the end. Like
Now, well, let me ask, Tadas,
maybe it's okay.
Rosmari, do you prefer the original proposal about spread throughout society? Do you agree with Eric's feedback about how making it more specific with the implementation is because basically that's what we're like balancing. I agree that Eric's point is that promote the implementation of it makes it more specific, but I still think that spread the adoption or just spread fractal decision making process is simpler. And if we're to say that to people, I kind of still feel like people will like be able to get it better if we just say spread. Like just spread these fractal decision making process throughout society. I feel like people will get it. Like, how else are you going to spread a process throughout society other than to say people start using these? And Eric's point about like spreading the videos. Well, I mean, we're not really spreading videos. We're spreading these decision making processes, and it's like I feel like it's kind of implied that it's like, how do you spread something? Like, how do you spread Christianity, for example? Like people understand that very intuitively. They're not like promote the implementation of Christianity or some religion.
Yeah.
They're like spread it around the world.
But if you talk to all of us and said, okay, everybody go out and spread Christianity, we would be thinking different things. I mean, it's very, what does spread mean? Oh, does it mean open churches, or you want to promote all of it? So are you very general in that it doesn't matter how you spread it, or are we going to focus more?
What if I were to tell you that we have a church and our mission is to spread Christianity throughout society through collaborative research, development, education,
So not church.
gamification.
So
What?
you don't want me to form churches anywhere, right?
Well, I would say that's a form of collaborative development because in order to build the churches, we have to collaboratively build the churches.
There may not be.
What's that?
You want to focus on, I know people, one of my friends has an organization called Church Planting, and his job is to help people start churches. So yeah, you would do that as part of spreading. But spread could also be, we do a newsletter. I do a newsletter. I'm not doing any churches. I'm just doing a newsletter. The other thing is I could do Bible study. Okay, I just do Bible studies. The other thing is, so do you want to promote all of it? Do you want to take your resources saying, any spreading is good, and that's where we're going to spend our resources. It's not that spread is bad.
Yeah, I don't see an issue with that. Like that's like hosting a Bible study. That would be both like collaborative development, perhaps researching the Bible, and community engagement and education.
I'm saying it's a matter of an organization choosing what it wants to do or whether it doesn't care. Somebody could, they're both good. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying we could say spread our religion or spread meditation, but there's a lot of different ways to do it. So by your saying spread, we don't care what anybody does. It's all good. We'll promote you. That's where our resources are. Or we're focusing on that. Like we could say, we're happy with anybody spreading religion, but we're going to focus on churches, or we're going to focus on live streaming, or it's a choice is what I'm saying. It's not bad. It's a choice.
But isn't the saying how we're gonna do it still included in the mission right now? Via collaborative research, development, education.
Okay, but we can say we let's spread fractal decision-making goodness, and we can leave everything else out because it's all included in everything. That includes everything, so we could just say that, and it would be good. But it doesn't focus our resources.
It's a matter of how much focus, I think. Oh, go ahead, Tadas.
Yeah, that's it exactly. It's how much focus do we want to have? Spread sounds good, but it's just a very general word that you could just say we could get rid of spread and just say we like, we like.
Yeah, coming back to Christianity example, like promote implementation of Christianity throughout society and so on. That for me makes it clearer that we want people to practice Christianity, whereas spread, it's.
But if you were to say we want people to spread to implement Christianity in their daily lives, is different than saying, "Oh, we just want to spread Christianity."
Yes, well, both could be understood as people practicing Christianity, but
yeah, they're not wrong.
But
neither of them is wrong.
Yes,
they're just different. My point is, it's just different.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and
in one case, we're saying we really like fractal governance. We're going to tell people about it. We're going to promote the book More Equal Animals and the Fractally White Paper. We're going to do, like I've been doing, some government education events. It's not, none of that's bad. It's just, what is the purpose of doing that? How focused do we want to be?
Yeah, so
because if you have an organization whose job it is to spread a religion, that's different than an organization who wants to establish churches, which is different than an organization that wants to help people implement those principles in their daily life. They're just, none of them bad. It's just different.
Yeah, so I agree. Promote implementation of is more focused on the end goal.
It's just a matter: do we want to take that focus, or do we want to leave it more general? That's the question. It's not that spread is bad or promote implementation is bad. It just, spread opens a lot of things that we want to cover, that we want to focus our energies on. So spread means we are taking our energies and moving them over a wider spectrum.
Yeah, because spread could be understood as spread information about fractals, for example.
And if that's our mission and somebody comes to us and said, yeah, I would like to do a newsletter just on governance and I'll include fractals, we go, oh, that's good. Yeah, Rosmari will help you with that. She loves that kind of stuff. We could do that. And that's not bad.
Well, I think that would be part of community engagement. But I think it's better to understand that as means for us to achieve a bigger end goal, which is implementation. Yeah, so I like it. I think we should start the mission with being more specific what we are aiming for. So promote implementation of, yeah, I like it.
It's kind of like Elon Musk and, Tesla could say, we want to promote clean energy. But that's not what he said. We want to accelerate the transition of the world to clean energy. So accelerating the transition is way different than saying we want to promote clean energy. So in other words, there's an action component in there that implies more. It's a difference between saying spreading religion and we want to help people put the advantage of religion in their daily life. They're, one is the more specific case. And it's just, again, they're not wrong.
Very interesting thoughts. I could share mine too. So Rosemary unmuted. I don't know if you wanted to say something, Rosemary, or if I should go ahead.
I wrote a simplified version of our mission is to implement fractal decision-making process throughout society.
Okay, interesting. Throwing a curveball here. That is a lot shorter than promote implementation of. So I like the succinctness there. Although to Tadas's point, the point I mentioned too is that in a lot of cases we're not the ones who are implementing it. It'll be us, providing education and tools and resources, and then somebody else will actually implement it. That's one thing worth considering.
Yeah, but it's kind of abstract too. In a way, we are implementing it because without us, they wouldn't have got the resources to do their implementation. So in a way, we are through our implementation, other people can implement. So in a way, we are implementing it too. So it's a bit abstract. Because at the end of the day, it's not 100% someone's work. It's a collaboration. It's someone people take someone else's approach, what works in their organization, and then they apply it. And for that reason, I don't think it's wrong to say that our mission is to implement fractal decision-making processes throughout society, because it's just taken a bit of an abstract way to say that we are, if they're going to use the fractal decision-making process, then we are taking the apart from the implementation, in my opinion. But that's what I want to add. So what do you think, Dan? I mean, what did you want to share?
So yeah, first off, thank you, Rosemary. I think that's an interesting point. I personally prefer that. I think implement to promote implementation of. I just think that brevity and simplicity is really important. And I feel like we're kind of overlooking that a little bit when we go for long. Like, be able to say it simply is important. And being able for people to repeat it, especially if you have like lots of people, like you want it to be simple and memorable, I think. So for that reason, I think I like implement more than promote implementation. I like the word promote too, but I think the word promote is kind of achieved by having like community engagement and education and so forth. And then to the previous point that Tadas and Eric were saying, I think I still preferred spread over promote implementation, partially because of that reason, because it's shorter, and then partially because I think it is more like to Eric's point about Tesla, I think what we're doing is more like spreading a religion than manufacturing an automobile. Like you have to start somewhere in like spreading the ideas. And I think that like will be more effective if we can attract a wider range of people who maybe aren't ready to promote the implementation of, but they're ready to hear the first ideas of it and they're ready to help how they can, basically. And spreading allows for that without making it too specific. But I also see Das's point and Eric's point about having it more specific about what we want to do and those things being the means to the end. But I just think that simplicity helps because we might turn people off if we say promote the implementation of it before people even understand what it is, really. And like you got to start small, I think. So, but I'm also happy with implement too, because I like the word implement and I like the specificity there. So maybe just like a good kind of compromise, what Rosemary said there.
I could go with that, but I will say we are more like Tesla than we are spreading religion, because Tesla sets up the whole soup to nuts infrastructure from batteries and cars and tools and all that. So they're talking about building a real world framework, and we are actually building a framework. We are not spreading an idea. So if you're spreading religion, you're spreading an idea. We're not spreading an idea. We are spreading the implementation, adoption of a platform, albeit a decentralized platform, unlike a centralized platform. So it's more like that.
Yeah, that's a good point too. I think we're kind of in between like spreading religion and building an automobile, because we're building like a social mechanism tool set basically, where like a big part of it is the idea more so than it is for an electric car. Like this is a new idea that people have to understand, but then we're also building the tools to implement that idea.
But we're more like building the tools for churches. It's kind of what we're doing. Communities that connect together, whether it's virtual or real. We are actually more like building the tools that churches could use, rather than say religion is great.
Yeah.
Yes, we are not just spreading information, we're creating something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but there's a key part of spreading the information, so people want to go into the church of Fractal, so to speak, and then use those tools.
But we have an actual church we're building, so to speak, or at least, virtual, decentralized church. So yeah, it's a little different, but it's not just an idea. That's kind of why I like the idea of our focus is on getting people to implement the stuff, not just talk about it.
Okay, now I like Rosmari's version best. It's shorter, and like Dan said, I think community engagement implies promotion.
I'll go with that.
Amen.
That's it. We are a church.
All right. Oh.
Thanks, God. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, and then I think the point that Rosary made about like how I don't remember exactly how she said that, but like basically it's through collaborative that we are implementing it basically. I think the idea that we're not promoting, and I think Tadas has written that too in the comments, like yeah, but it's basically implied basically that that's our mission to do it, whether we're the one who's implementing it directly or we're collaborating with another person, and that collaboration could come in the form of them like reading our article or documentation or using our tool or something like that. So
I would say it feels good to me now. Just when I tune off my logical, when I disengage my logical self, the other part of me likes it too.
very nice.
Yeah, me too. I really like.
Sorry.
What was that you're saying, Eric?
I'm saying sometimes they're not in sync. The logical side goes love it, the other side goes no, or sometimes it's like, oh, I love it, and the logical side goes, they're in sync now.
Yeah. Shall we do dance party?
A dance party?
Dance
Yeah.
party.
Oh, hats party? We could do a dance party and a hats party, yeah, too. Maybe we should. We haven't done a hats party in a while, and that's something that we've been doing here at at Eden Fractal for a while. This is nice. We finally have a mission, everybody.
Yeah.
We're on consensus, right?
Someone tell Perry he will.
Yeah, right. Oh, there's Perry. He's joining the call right now. Yeah, that would be good to
He
promote.
won't believe it, like.
All right.
We have to tag everyone maybe in the chat.
Yeah, that might be good. Yeah, there's something we can promote too. I think a lot of people will be happy. That was a big question that people had in past year and a half, past 2 years of Eden Fractal. Like, what is the mission? I think people priced it hundreds of times. So now we can finally tell them. And I think it's a very good mission that really captures what we're aiming to do. And I think a lot of people who have been involved with Eden Fractal will align with it as well.
Yeah. And if anyone doesn't like it, then they can change it.
They can propose it.
Yeah, we can take another year.
via a fractal decision-making process. Well, hopefully it won't take another year because we are aiming to make it fair, fast, and fun to decision making. But as we discussed, our tools haven't been yet entirely built for the fair, fast, and fun part of it. So and just taking a while for us just to think about it too, and like kind of morph our minds around this new idea, this new religion slash church slash automobile company that we have here. Should we get hats, or I don't know if we should get hats. I'm just gonna get a hat just in case we want to have hats. I don't know if we want to do hats, but I have a hat here. Is there anything else we want to discuss? We're a few minutes away from the top of the hour, and if we want, we can go ahead and maybe since we're on a roll, we can just build our strategy out right now in the next 3 minutes, or we can just wrap it up too. Maybe it's best to wrap it up. Does anybody else have any other thoughts before we wrap it up, or anything else we should discuss here?
Yeah, 3 minutes. Let's do strategy in 3 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go to the well, consumers, products, go-to-market strategy, market segments, target markets,
No, you know that
build a church.
South Park meme.
What have I
uh, plan something. Profit.
Yeah, question mark. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, we're at that point right now. But I think we made progress though, because it seems like we're going to start a church now, and then we're going to build some high technology stuff for a church or fractal or something like that. Maybe that could be a rough strategy. We could probably refine upon the strategy in the future as well.
We'll be starting on the book of tools per se.
Yeah.
Book of tools. The book of promotion.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we'll have to come with a scripture. Yeah. When I was at Eth Denver, by the way, this week, it was a really cool conference and met a lot of amazing people who really liked respect gaming fractals and stuff like that. And a lot of people did have books or like little like pamphlets and stuff that inspired me. We can start giving them out to help implement fractal decision making processes throughout society. Maybe for next conference season, we can start giving away some materials.
This last weekend, I was at a conference too. It was virtual, but it was all about building your product portfolio, saying how do you get people to move into adopting your products and services.
Very interesting. It sounds like a relevant conference for perhaps our next meeting. I suppose in the next meeting we can discuss strategy, and I know we talked a little bit about scoping out our products and consumers.
Got a whole thing, chart 2 pages on, fill this out and good stuff.
Okay, very cool. Well, yeah, maybe.
But it's down to where we are. It's combining the vision and mission to get the what done. It's saying take your why and your how and now get it down into, so what is it that I can get from you now, and how do you deliver that to people so that they stay, so that so they're happy, you attract them, you attract them, you enroll them, you deliver, and you retain them. So how do you do that? It's a good conference. It's once a year. So next year you guys can come if you want.
Cool. Yeah, I'm interested to learn about it. If you want to share what that conference is called or what it is, either here or send me a message, and I'd be interested to check it out.
It's called Live Your Message.
All right. I'm down with living my message. Sounds good. Okay, well, thanks for sharing. Looking forward to get into how we can live our message and then do the what. I see, Rosmari, are you saying something here? I see Rosmari and Tadas are writing in the Notion too. I don't know if we should wrap it up because we're a minute over, so I want to respect everybody's time, but what's that? Tadas, do you want to say something? Oh, okay.
We feel that we need to solidify the mission in text, make it more bold.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I see you're making it bold here. Maybe we should also say it for the audience too, or I could share my screen, or we could say it. We could each take a turn and say one word each of the mission. Our. No, we probably don't need to do that. Anyway,
We can do it, it's okay.
hour.
One word each?
If we want, it could be fun. We don't need to. I don't know if he has to go, so I
later.
don't want to hold everybody up. But I'm up for it if you want to, though.
No, I think I will be going.
Okay, yeah.
Go Eden Fractal.
I suppose. Well, going fractal, but before that, too, I do want to just repeat it too for the audience. So we now have our vision. We now have our why. Eden Fractal believes that all communities and organizations should have the tools and methods to make the best possible decision making faster and fun. And we have our how, which is our mission is to implement fractal decision making processes throughout society via collaborative research, development, education, gamification, and community engagement. And then I suppose next week's meeting we could discuss our what, and that could be our strategy and exactly the products and so forth that we'll have to actualize that mission. So I think we're making really nice progress. It's very nice that we're at this point, and I'm really glad. So thanks so much, Eric and Tadas and Rosmari for making this happen. And I'm really excited about our mission and our next steps. And thanks everybody for watching too. Pleasure being here and excited to implement fractal decision-making processes throughout society with y'all.
Me too.
All right, cool. Should we do 3, 2, 1, go in fractal now? Or any last thoughts?
Okay, let's go.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, 0. Go
Eden
Eden
Fractal.
Fractal. Woo! All right. Thanks all. See you next week.
Ciao.